Hi, this is Misha. And since a lot of folks like Chinese AKs and SKS, I thought we would do another little video on them. This one's on the SKS so-called Paratroopers model. And to go along with, just for comparison, I brought out my standard Chinese SKS. This one was made in the 60s. Has some of the late features, but not all of them. Now this weapon here has a 20.5-inch barrel, which is standard full length for an SKS, with a spike bayonet, standard 10-round mag. And the Paratrooper model is nothing more than the exact same gun, with the barrel cut down to 16 1/4, 16 1/2. So we're lobbing off 4 inches, give or take, maybe a little bit more. And we're correspondingly shortening the bayonet to work with the relocated front sight base and bayonet ring. But the gas system, as you see, stays the same length. We didn't shorten this. The stock is the same. Now you'll notice this one has a large mag hanging out. This is a 20-round factory mag. It says made in China on it. It's got a big star, as you see. This was an optional upgrade for SKSs back in the 80s, 90s. This is not one that takes the detachable mag. It just has a larger version of the standard 10-round fixed mag. Probably didn't originally come with this rifle, but it is an original Chinese part. It could have been added at the gun shop when this was new, or it could have been added by the owner, or it could have been ordered out of the same catalog. And that is really about it. Most paratroopers just have the standard 10-round mag. There are some of these out there that take detachable mags that are modified AK mags to one extent or another. Now the Paratrooper version was not a military gun in China. This was done for the American market. They just took SKSs and they cut the barrel down, recrowning it. They would then move the sight base and the bayonet ring further down on the barrel. And the only other change they really made was to, let me see which side it is. You can see it here a little better. Was to cut down the bayonet. This was originally a full-length spike bayonet at one time. They just ground it down and recontoured it so that when it was disengaged, it would still fit in the buttstock. So even though this was just a version made for the US market, it still has its place. And it's still a neat little handy SKS because, you know, lobbing off 4 inches, give or take, a barrel and shortening the bayonet does save considerably on weight and length. See? And just makes it a slightly neater, handier package. And 20 rounds versus 10 is kind of cool, I guess, too, on this particular one, just because. Yeah, not really a lot of history to say on these. As we know, the Chinese SKS was banned from further import in 1994 when sanctions were put on China for rifles. So that was pretty much the end of these. And many, many different companies would import Chinese SKSs up from the 80s to that point. In more recent times, some military SKSs have come out of other nations where they've been for decades. So there have been a few batches of Chinese SKSs coming over in the last decade or so, but only because they were over in foreign countries long enough that they were technically no longer considered Chinese by the Customs State Department ATF. As far as I know, all of those, of course, were 20-inch guns because, again, the 16s were made for the U.S. market. Well, that's really about it. Not a lot of history or anything to go on here today, but I thought this might be interesting for some people to look at. If you have any questions or comments, please share them below. We'd love to hear about your own Chinese SKSs. I know a lot of you out there have them. If you liked the video, please click like, and if you haven't already subscribed and could do so, we'd appreciate that a lot. As always, this is Misha. And please tune in again next time for hopefully another interesting video. We'll catch you then.